San Francisco, a city shrouded in fog, both literally and metaphorically. The mist that envelops the city is not just a natural phenomenon, but a symbol of the mysteries and secrets that lie within its streets. The Golden Gate Bridge, a beacon of hope and architectural marvel, stood in stark contrast to the darkness that began to creep through the city's streets. Its towering presence was a reminder of human ingenuity, yet it couldn't overshadow the growing sense of dread. It was a time of change, of social upheaval, and amidst it all, a sinister shadow emerged. The 1960s were marked by protests, civil rights movements, and a fight for equality. But in the midst of this progress, a dark figure began to cast a long shadow over the city. He would become known as the Zodiac Killer, a name that would forever be etched in the annals of criminal history. His cryptic messages and taunting letters sent to newspapers added to the fear and confusion, making him a figure of both terror and fascination. His hunting ground was vast, stretching from the quiet suburbs of Vallejo to the bustling heart of San Francisco. No one felt safe, as his reach seemed to extend to every corner of the Bay Area. His victims, seemingly random, were united by the chilling brutality of their deaths. Each crime scene painted a picture of horror, leaving the community in a state of perpetual fear and uncertainty. And as his reign of terror continued, so too did the fear that gripped the Bay Area. The fog that once symbolized mystery now represented the unknown threat lurking in the shadows, a constant reminder of the danger that could strike at any moment. December 20th, 1968. A date forever marked by tragedy in the city of Vallejo. Young love was supposed to be in the air, but instead the crisp night carried the sound of gunshots. David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen, just teenagers, were enjoying a romantic evening at a lover's lane when their lives were cut tragically short. Their killer, ruthless and efficient, left behind few clues. The community, once a haven of peace, was plunged into a state of shock and fear. Who was this predator, and would he strike again? The answer, unfortunately, was a resounding yes. The Zodiac Killer craved attention. He wasn't just another criminal lurking in the shadows. He was a master manipulator who thrived on the fear and chaos he created. He didn't just want to kill, he wanted to instill terror and play a twisted game with the authorities. His actions were calculated, each move designed to taunt the police and keep the public on edge. His chosen method of communication? Letters, but these weren't ordinary letters. They were filled with cryptic messages and chilling boasts. He began sending cryptic messages to local newspapers, boasting of his crimes and threatening future attacks. Each letter was a puzzle, a challenge to the authorities, and a source of dread for the public. These weren't the ramblings of a madman, though they were certainly unsettling. They were meticulously crafted to instill fear and confusion. The Zodiac, as he called himself, filled his letters with ciphers, complex codes that he claimed held the key to his identity. These ciphers were a twisted game, a challenge to anyone who dared to solve them. He demanded that these messages be printed on the front page, a chilling ultimatum that newspapers grappled with. The media was caught in a moral dilemma: to publish and potentially incite more terror, or to withhold and risk further wrath from the Zodiac. The public was captivated and terrified, caught in the grip of a real-life mystery that seemed to unfold with each passing day. The Zodiac's letters were more than just words on paper. They were a direct line into the mind of a killer, a glimpse into the darkness that lurked behind his cryptic messages. September 27th, 1969. Lake Berryessa, a popular spot for sunbathers and picnickers, became the scene of a horrifying attack. Cecilia Shepard and Brian Hartnell were enjoying a peaceful afternoon, unaware of the danger lurking nearby. A man wearing a bizarre executioner-like hood approached them, brandishing a handgun. He bound and stabbed the young couple, leaving them for dead. Miraculously, Brian Hartnell survived the attack, providing crucial details about the assailant and his chilling words. "I'm the Zodiac. The attack at Lake Berryessa sent shockwaves through California. The Zodiac was becoming bolder, more brazen, and the public grew increasingly desperate for answers. Nightmare in San Francisco, the Paul Stine murder. October 11th, 1969, the heart of San Francisco. Paul Stine, a cab driver, was making his rounds on what seemed like an ordinary night. He picked up a fare, unaware that his passenger was the notorious Zodiac Killer. The ride was short, ending abruptly on a quiet street corner. A single gunshot rang out, ending Paul Stine's life. The Zodiac, calm and methodical, took a gruesome souvenir, a piece of Stine's shirt, before disappearing into the night. This time, however, there was a glimmer of hope. Witnesses saw the killer and provided a description to police. The hunt begins early investigations. The murders of David Faraday, Betty Lou Jensen, Cecilia Shepard, and Paul Stine, along with the attack on Brian Hartnell, sparked one of the largest manhunts in California history. These brutal crimes sent shockwaves through the community, instilling fear and a desperate need for answers. The Zodiac Killer's reign of terror had begun, and the clock was ticking for law enforcement. Police departments across the Bay Area pooled their resources, determined to bring the Zodiac to justice. Collaboration was key, as detectives from different jurisdictions shared information and strategies. The sense of urgency was palpable, with every officer aware that the next attack could happen at any moment. The pressure was immense, the public demanding answers, and the investigators worked tirelessly, chasing down every lead, every tip, every whisper. They worked late into the night, driven by the hope of catching the elusive killer. The phones rang constantly with potential sightings and theories, each one a possible breakthrough. The Zodiac's letters, while taunting, also provided valuable clues. These cryptic messages were a double-edged sword, offering both insight and frustration. The killer seemed to relish the game, playing cat and mouse with those who sought to stop him. His handwriting, his word choices, his bizarre symbols, all of it was meticulously analyzed. Experts in cryptography and linguistics were brought in to decode the messages, hoping to find a hidden pattern or a slip that would reveal his identity. Every detail was scrutinized, every possibility considered. But the Zodiac, it seemed, was always one step ahead. A phantom that vanished into thin air. The streets at night became a haunting reminder of his presence, with every shadow a potential threat. The search continued, relentless and unyielding, as the investigators vowed not to rest until the Zodiac was caught. Faces in the crowd, prime suspects, and dead ends. Over the years, the Zodiac case has been plagued by false leads and dead ends. Hundreds, if not thousands, of potential suspects have been investigated, their lives scrutinized under the harsh glare of the public eye. Arthur Lee Allen, a man with a troubled past and an eerie resemblance to a police sketch, became a prime suspect. Ross Sullivan, a library worker with an interest in codes and ciphers, also drew the attention of investigators. But despite the suspicions, despite the circumstantial evidence, no one could definitively link any of these men to the Zodiac's crimes. The ciphers riddle codes and confessions. The Zodiac's ciphers have become the stuff of legend, a tantalizing puzzle that has captivated amateur and professional code breakers for decades. Some of the ciphers were relatively simple, yielding taunting messages and boasts. But one cipher, known as the 340 cipher, has remained unsolved, a frustrating enigma that may hold the key to the Zodiac's identity. Over the years, there have been claims of breakthroughs, whispers of solutions. But the 340 cipher, like the Zodiac himself, remains an enigma. A chilling legacy, the Zodiac's enduring grip. The Zodiac Killer's reign of terror may have ended in the early 1970s, but his shadow still looms large. He became a chilling figure, a boogeyman who haunted the dreams of a generation. The mystery surrounding his identity, The unsolved ciphers, the unanswered questions, all of it has fueled endless speculation and fascination. Books, documentaries, and films have explored the case, each offering theories and interpretations, but the true story of the Zodiac remains elusive. Subscribe for more chills from Mr. Thrill Seeker. Share if you dare. Stick around for our latest spine-tingling thriller.